Oh, there we go. Welcome in. I know a lot's going on right now. I just seen that Charlie Kirk got shot, so pray for Charlie Kirk. There's a video I need to find. Hi, Christopher. Welcome in. Love you. Did you hear about Charlie Kirk? Yes, prayers. Absolutely, Rick. Welcome in, Rick. Love you. Darlene, welcome in. Love you. I was debating on once this happened with Charlie to even go live, but we do need to pray. Everybody needs to come in and we'll pray for him, pray for our country. I don't think I want to talk about forgiveness today. Not right now. Yes, he got shot just a little bit ago, right in the neck. He was in Utah doing one of his college things with people. It was packed. They shot him in the neck. No word on what's going on, if he's okay. I wish I could show people's videos, but I'll get a strike if I do. I don't know who to show and not get a strike. JLR would give me a strike, even though he shows people's videos. That's how he got started. I'm looking right now to see who's showing all talking about it. This is crazy that this is going on in America. If you're on the right, they're gonna do everything to shut you up and close you down, kill you, whatever they got to do, and it's not right. This is ICML. I don't know if ICML would. I don't know. I'm gonna show it anyway. Just make sure everybody knows his link and. It looks like they arrested an older man. Does he? Okay, thank you, Faith. Let me go there. I never know who to do this with because I don't want to get a strike. I'm not monetized, so it wouldn't really bother me, but it would. Oh, your landlord didn't know? Really? It's Oh, I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid. Don't be afraid, Chris. That's what they want. Do not be afraid. Just make sure your heart's right with Jesus. Honey, nothing's loading for me. What's going on? Right, Newsmax. I know that's what worries me, Faith. Absolutely, because the one video I saw, it cut him right in the neck. I don't. There was a lot of blood, and I don't remember who showed it. Yeah, they can. That's all right, Chris. You know you're not a racist. Uh, you know you love America, so let them say what they want. I get all kinds of stuff. I have a lot of family members that are liberals. That's all right. I don't let it bother me. Just remember, God said people will come against us for our faith. Yeah, nope, yeah, absolutely, Faith. I haven't been on social media other than just the one because I was picking the puppy up and trying to get ready for Bible study. And so I missed a lot of it, but then it came across my TV and I'm like, what? Yeah, just be proud of it, Chris. Don't that's why nobody's standing up. Everybody most people are afraid to even say anything. But the left is like marching in the streets and nobody's doing anything or defending America. They're all up against it. So, and people like Charlie get shot. People like President Trump get shot. People like the guy that went to Trump's rally get shot and killed. It's ridiculous. White people are being murdered all over the place. One, for your skin color, two, because you're a Trump supporter. Or they perceive you because you're white, you're a Trump supporter. It's awful. Absolutely. It's awful. And this Bible study today won't be happening today. It's going to happen tomorrow. I'm trying to find stuff to show because after today, and we see what happens, we're going to need the Bible study I have planned, and it's called Forgiveness. Why God says we have to forgive, how we have to forgive, what happens when we forgive. Right now, I don't feel like forgiving anybody, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite and try to explain to everybody how God wants us to. I just feel like that's being hypocritical. Hi, Kim. Welcome in. Yes, let's all just pray for Charlie right now, right this second. And then do have a video I want to show you of I forget who it is, but he was praying for Charlie and it was beautiful. I got to find it again. So, Father, we lift Charlie Kirk, his family, up to you, Lord. We just ask you to guide the doctors, guide the nurses, keep him safe, Father God. Let him be okay so that he may get out there and speak again, oh God. Be with his family. I know his wife is scared. I know she is, Lord. Wrap your loving arms around her. Father, bring peace to America. We need peace, Father God. We need all this craziness to stop. Father, give us forgiving hearts for the person who did this. Let no one else get shot, Father God. Protect us all, Father. Keep us all safe as we go out and spread your word and spread the word of America, the conservative movement, Lord. Keep them all safe, Father. Any podcaster, anybody live streaming, any of it, Father God, keep them safe. Put your angels around them and protect them. We just pray for a healing for Charlie, Father. We lift him up to you. We give him up to you, Father God, so that you may heal him and keep him strong and let him come back stronger than before. We thank you, Lord, for your mercy and your grace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I got to find that video. I can play it. Okay. Wasn't Iqmal. I can't believe all the stuff that's here. Maybe it was this one. No, it wasn't it. No, talking to myself. Oh, Nick Shirley. Here we go. I can play his. I can't get on my X. It's not letting me on. I tried to, and it keeps saying it's not loading. It's probably overflown with people on it. And this young man here, Nick Shirley, I worry about him too. He's always out in the streets. Very brave young man.
Crazy. I know, you're as shocked as I am.
I will get him on here. I got to go to my YouTube. Here we go. We got it right here. Oh, I guess I could log in. I'm subscribed to him, so I'll just log in to my YouTube. Actually, I'm just gonna. Okay. I'm gonna play this one. If I get in trouble, I get in trouble. So be it. What they're gonna do? I'm not monetized, so.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Tell us what you saw, what you experienced today.
It was just shortly after he had started his second speech. Everything was going great. Everyone was, getting along and happy and everything. And then we just heard one shot. It didn't sound like it was a very high caliber. It sounded like a smaller one. But my wife immediately fell, but I saw him, and he definitely got shot. It looked like roughly in between his neck and like his collarbone area or somewhere in the neck.
Taylor,
what it looked like, but there was a lot of blood.
Taylor, can you set up the scene for us inside the arena where that speech was taking place as this was happening? What can you tell us about what was going on around you?
Everything was great. Everybody was getting along, and there was two crowds there that were from a different perspective or view that were screaming and yelling a lot, but besides that, everybody was getting along. It was great. So, we all love Charlie. He's amazing.
What happened immediately after you heard that sound? I imagine it was pretty chaotic.
It was very chaotic, yeah. The biggest fear was my wife at first, but there was a whole lot of just fear and sadness, and
Sure.
mass
Sure.
destruction. I guess everybody just freaking out, trying to take care of their own, and we're all trying to help everyone else. Everybody hunkered together and we got out of there safe. So.
And I'm sorry, Taylor, was it an outdoor event?
Yes, it was.
It was an outdoor event. We're looking now at video posted on social media. You can feel the chaos that Taylor described. We're talking to Taylor Birmingham. He was one of those spectators in the audience with his wife when shots were fired and chaos ensued.
Taylor, tell us about how many people do you think were there for this speech, for this event out there?
Oh, there were hundreds. Like he even mentioned, it's one of his biggest crowds. I would say there was at least 2,000 to 3,000, maybe more.
But a couple of times you've referenced sort of a calm atmosphere. We know there was some controversy surrounding this particular event, this speaker specifically, but you described the crowd as pretty well mannered up to this point.
Absolutely, yeah. Besides, there was a couple of groups that were not well mannered at all, and any topic or anything that was brought up, they were shouting like F Charlie, and they were shouting, like anything against any religion or anything. They were screaming and yelling and booing.
Did you notice a significant police presence?
Police presence?
Yeah, during the speech, during the event.
Yeah. The police were absolutely amazing during this. They were absolutely incredible and jumped right into action. I say thanks to every one of them.
And Taylor, as this event was going on, or prior to him, to the speaker coming on and giving the talk, was there any mention about security or conduct, anything like that?
I don't. Not that we kind of came in like right as it was starting, so I guess we wouldn't have heard any of that. But.
And you said the two groups that got a little unruly. Do you know where they were located? It seems you were facing the stage. The crowd was facing the stage, and it was a large group. It was a large crowd. Could you tell where those protesters were stationed or set up?
Yeah, there was some that were. I actually have video of showing when they were screaming and yelling. And they were right above us up on the balcony, and I turned my camera and looked at them, and then looked over at the other crowd as well. One crowd was more closer to like directly in the line of where that could have came from by chance. The others were not. The others were behind him.
Yeah, hard to tell, obviously, in moments like that when the crowds are big and the sounds are echoing and bouncing off. Interesting to note that the levels that you described there with spectators watching from a heightened vantage point as well. Taylor Birmingham, thank you so much. We appreciate you jumping on the line with us and sharing your experience. Glad you're safe, glad you're okay, and thank you for sharing your experience.
Thank you.
Senator Mike Lee posting a tweet in the last half hour saying, quote, "I am tracking the situation at Utah Valley University closely. Please join me in praying for Charlie Kirk and the students gathered there." We're showing you kind of a repeat of a video posted on social media, and social media is lighting up right now, as you might imagine. Charlie Kirk was the scheduled speaker at UVU today. He's an American right-wing political activist, an author, a media personality. There was a lot of attention given toward this particular speech. Yeah. It sounds like we are getting some witness accounts that we want to make sure that you're aware of. Are we going to? We have Jason. He's a former officer. He's joining us on the phone. He was just 5 feet away from this event when it happened. Jason, thank you. Obviously, you have a professional eye on a situation like this as well. Were you working today or just there to observe?
No, I was just there to have fun and immerse myself in Mr. Kirk's dialogue. I had retired from the law enforcement back in June. I was just there having fun. Yeah, describe to us what you saw. Well, after the first speaker, there was somebody that came up. I forgot what she was asking about. And about halfway through her first her first question, I heard a shot come out, and I looked directly over at Charlie, and he kind of fell backwards into the chair, and just all of his Secret Service guy.
If you're here in the area and are looking for a solution to heat your home this winter, then this is hands down the system you need to be looking at. It's a heat pump system. So not only will it heat your home efficiently during the cold months, but it'll also keep you cool.
No doubt. So he wasn't speaking. Yeah. Charlie Kirk wasn't speaking, but was seated on the stage.
He was seating on the stage at the time the shot rang out. Yeah.
So, Jason, with your background in law enforcement,
that's
tell us
him.
What you noticed as far as the law enforcement presence there. Did it seem like there was heightened security?
They had a lot of security people. They had undercovers in the audience that I saw after the fact. They had their weapons drawn, looking for a suspect and stuff like that. He obviously had his own security detail, but as far as uniform officers, I was talking to some of them underneath the bridge there, where Charlie Kirk was coming out. I was talking to some of them, and it looked pretty safe to me. Yeah.
Well, we mentioned your instincts kind of jumping in, and your sharp eye took in a lot. We're seeing video now of a suspect who was arrested. It would appear that happened fairly quickly. Can you describe what happened after those shots rang out?
So there was only one shot that I heard, the one shot, and I did see that same guy in a blue shirt and handcuffs over by the was it the north side of the complex where it was. So I did see that same guy in custody. I don't know if that was the shooter or not, but it sounded like the shooter was pretty close to the front row.
Yeah. How would you describe the mood prior to that shot?
Oh, the mood prior, before everything happened, it was absolutely amazing. The crowd was very cheerful, very positive. It was doing just like a normal Charlie Kirk rally.
Yeah.
Have you attended one before?
Started off on a good foot. We had the first person come in and talk and did very well, and then they moved on, and then the second person came in, and that's when the shots rang out, or the shot rang out.
Jason, had you attended any one of his events before? Any of his speeches before?
No, I had tried to get in one time, but I had missed it. So no, this was the first Charlie Kirk one that I've been to.
Well, Jason, we appreciate it. Thank you for jumping on the line with us. That's Jason, a retired law enforcement officer who was there as just a spectator taking in this Charlie Kirk speech, this event at Utah Valley University. And you can see through these social media videos just how quickly it became a chaotic scene.
Vice President J.D. Vance reacted to the shooting by posting on X, quote, "Say a prayer for Charlie Kirk, a genuinely good guy and a young father."
Charlie Kirk is a 31-year-old American right-wing political activist. He's an author. He's a media personality. And there was a lot of attention around this speech and this event. This video is the newest that we've seen. Of course, social media being flooded right now with different accounts and videos. But this shows the man in the blue shirt that you heard Jason describe that was taken into custody, it would appear fairly quickly, and escorted off by a group of officers.
And Jason had mentioned that he heard at least one shot, but prior to that shot, he says it was, not a lot of really going on, nothing that would lead him to believe something of this magnitude would happen. This was his first time attending this type of event. In speaking to our prior caller, someone who was there, Taylor, he said about 2,000 to 3,000 people were there. And then as we saw from video there, things got very chaotic.
We're now receiving confirmation that Charlie Kirk was the individual shot at this event at Utah Valley University today. Turning Point USA confirming that is a company owned by Charlie Kirk. So we can take that as reputable information. It's what everyone assumed. Now we can confirm. We don't have an exact timeline. Obviously, this is just unfolding in the moment. However, we're told that the shot rang out during the first speech. Charlie Kirk himself had not even taken the podium. He was seated on the stage, and someone was introducing him when that shot went out.
As you can imagine, we are getting several reaction on social media. FBI Director Kash Patel had this to say about the situation, posting on X, quote, "We are closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and investigation." And again, if you are just joining us, Turning Point Academy, Charlie Kirk's company, has confirmed that he was, in fact, the person shot at Utah Valley University today.
The video you're seeing, of course, is very chaotic, but prior to this, spectators describe it as a fairly calm event. There were a couple of pockets of people that were shouting out at various points during the event, but other than that, it was a fairly calm scene. Police presence was heavy. It was expected to have kind of a high scrutiny, a high visibility, this type of event, and then certainly the speaker. So there was police presence, and also Charlie Kirk. We've been told that it was assumed he brought his own security detail as well. But prior to this moment, things were going quite smoothly.
And it looks like we have another witness on the phone with us who was there. Jeff Johnson, I understand you are a faculty member there at Utah Valley University. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Jeff, thanks for joining us. Give us a perspective. What exactly happened? What can you tell us? Describe those moments.
Yeah, so we were kind of up above them in a similar location to where some of the videos that are circling around are from. And there's just a really loud boom, loud enough that, I still got ringing in my ear and still a little bit deaf in that ear. But I thought it might have been a firework. It was that loud. So people started scrambling, running around. I was kind of looking around for smoke. And it wasn't until I looked down and I saw them on top of Charlie Kirk that I kind of realized what was happening, and was able to see them pick him up and carry him out by his limbs. So at that point, kind of realized what was going on, and we got out of there. It seemed like undercover officers started kind of revealing themselves and telling us to get out of the area. But that was kind of it. It took about, unfortunately, like 30 minutes to get any notification from the school to get out of there, and about 45 minutes before they told us to get off of campus. But that's kind of what's happened from my perspective.
Yeah, the area had already cleared, I imagine, long before that. As a faculty member there, can you tell us about the temperament toward this event? It has received a lot of attention. What was the vibe going into this particular speech?
It seemed overly supportive. Most of the people around him, it's kind of a closed off area, little amphitheater, and everybody kind of in the amphitheater seemed really supportive. There was a group of protesters up above him and to his right, not in the area that the shot came from. And they would say things and boo here and there, but overall it seemed very supportive of what was going on.
And with the tiers, the levels, when events are held out here, obviously this was a big crowd, but are they typically occupying those balconies and those enclaves?
I've not personally seen anything to this scale
Yeah.
Before, so I wouldn't be able to relate it to anything.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we appreciate your insight, Jeff. Thank you so much for joining us and jumping on with us for our call. Now, we are getting some more witness accounts of folks who were there on scene. Can you tell me the name of the caller, please? Okay.
We don't have a caller at the moment, Tamara.
I do want to mention, though, Brooke, I'm just reading this now. President Trump has just addressed the shooting on his social media site, Truth Social, saying, quote, "We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him."
We're hearing a number of reactions like that on social media. The latest from President Trump, as Tamara said. J.D. Vance also responded. Some of our local leaders responding as well. It was a very chaotic scene, as you're seeing, and social media reacting real time. There were upwards of 2,000 to 3,000 people there, is the best estimate we can get from those on the ground. And all of those people flooding social media with their experiences, their pictures, and their videos.
Yeah, and based on one witness account, we understand there was a speaker that had just gone out. Charlie Kirk hadn't even spoken yet. And so we're taking a look right now on your screen here. We're getting more video of Utah Valley University at this speaking event right before the shooting. One witness had just told us on the phone here that he heard one shot rang out almost as if it was a loud boom, a firework, a firecracker.
Response was immediate. Charlie Kirk did hit the ground, we're told, and security detail appeared to immediately protect him, climb on top of him. And you imagine how quickly people then scattered just as a result of that single shot, that single sound. But we're told the police presence was quite significant, both uniformed police officers, but also those who jumped into action after this particular event, helping to clear the area, helping to get people to safety. So the response itself seems to be pretty quick.
Yeah, an earlier video showed too that there was a person that has been arrested that was being escorted. We haven't gotten confirmation that a suspect is in custody, but that's the part of the video that we have been seeing, that someone in fact has been arrested.
Yeah, we have told the suspect was in custody, and we're seeing now the video there of the man in the blue shirt. And spectators say that attention immediately went to this individual. Obviously, it's hard in a situation like that with a crowd of that size to determine where certain sounds come from or how those sounds reverberate or bounce around the area. But one individual we talked to, Jason, he was a retired law enforcement officer, so he had a sensibility that was quite heightened in unusual ways because of his law enforcement training. He noticed police officers immediately, he said, going toward this individual in the blue shirt, and he was shortly thereafter led off the campus.
Well, this is a breaking news situation, so we are getting information pouring in as well as video, what you're seeing here. We do want to talk to another witness that was there at Utah Valley University to get her account. Can you tell us your name, please?
Hi, my name's Haley Westmoreland. I'm here with Mia Callister. We were both at the school with the shooting.
Okay, Haley and Mia?
Taylor, yes.
Haley, can you tell us, what did you see and what did you hear? What happened?
So we ended up getting there late, and we were coming in behind where he was speaking. And so in some of the videos, you can see that building, and that's where we were. And we just had walked in and heard the shot, and everyone turned, and they just started running and screaming. They were just screaming, "Shooter, shooter, run." People were crying, and
Can you kind of describe what the mood was like there before you heard those shots, before things broke out?
It was so mellow, and then as we were walking out the door so mellow, you could just hear the gunshot, and automatically hundreds of kids were running, screaming, "Shooter, shooter, run, 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 run. And as you ran through the halls, every single person just started running. You could feel it. They were crying.
We were here live.
So people scattered both inside buildings and outside, just trying to clear the area as quickly as possible.
Yeah. There were just crowds of people trying to get out as fast as they could.
Well, Taylor and Mia, thank you so much for sharing your account. We're glad you're safe, and we appreciate you sharing your experience with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We can now confirm Charlie Kirk was the individual shot on UVU campus. It was a highly promoted speech that was scheduled for this morning. Charlie Kirk, of course, an American right-wing political activist. He's an author. He's a media personality. You can see now from this UDOT camera the congestion of traffic as people obviously try to leave the area. It cleared pretty quickly, obviously, after that happened, but now cars and vehicles backed up a little bit on University Parkway as people try to leave that scene.
Yeah, this was a highly publicized event. A lot of people aware that this was going to be going on. A lot of fans of Charlie Kirk who were using this as an opportunity to see him for the first time. From witnesses, they told us about 2,000 to 3,000 people were in attendance there. We know Utah Valley University homed about 46,000 students there at the time as well. And so we're getting information streaming in. Again, we can tell you that a suspect is in custody. As far as Charlie Kirk's condition, we have not been given any details or confirmation on the status of his health.
A really unique venue and potentially a tricky one for law enforcement or security, where you're in an outdoor setting and it was set up in sort of, it appeared to be a semicircular shape pointed toward a tent where Charlie Kirk was seated. He hadn't yet taken the podium. He was being introduced. The first speaker of the morning had stepped up, was introducing, I think someone said even asking an opening question. And Charlie Kirk at the time was seated underneath a canopy shaded just to the left of that podium when that shot was fired. KSL reporter Alex Cabrero is en route to Utah Valley University. He also is tracking the updated information and also the feedback as it rolls out. Alex, what can you tell us?
Just about to UVU campus right now, but I got to tell you, it is, as expected, it is absolute chaos here. There are cars coming out. It is almost a parking lot on the roads. They're trying to orderly get people to leave, at least where we can see. But there are also a lot of people who are trying to make their way onto campus as well, just to be a part of this, to see this or witness this or be there, because Charlie Kirk is such a large presence, has a lot of fans. And so we're just in the middle of that right now, trying to make our way into the area where we can at least start reporting on television.
It's interesting, Alex, because social media obviously reporting real time and seeing the videos that are being posted, you can feel the chaos. You're now experiencing the aftermath of that chaos with the traffic congestion as people try to leave campus, and political leaders responding really quickly in support of Charlie Kirk, sending prayers, President Trump, J.D. Vance, local leaders as well. But we don't have a current update on the condition of Charlie Kirk.
That's right. Yeah. And I haven't heard anything myself either. And I haven't seen any of those videos yet myself. We were down at another event in the Pacey Santa Quinn area when we got the word, from our news desk about what happened, and to try to get there as quickly as we could. So I'm still catching up on the information that has been released at this point. But it's a sad day. No matter which side you're on, no matter which side you believe,
Yeah.
We're working on that right now. We're getting close, and somebody's trying to talk to me.
You're okay, Alex.
We should be able to get on television here pretty quickly.
Thank you, Alex. We'll look forward to your on-the-ground report here momentarily. That's Alex Cabrero on his way to the campus of Utah Valley University, where Utah now becomes a central focus as the world, the nation watches this situation unfold. We've talked about the attention this particular event had received, although those on the ground tell us and have been telling us all afternoon that the mood was very calm and peaceful prior to what you're seeing now through these social media events. There were a few pockets of protesters. One bystander identified the location of those bystanders as being elevated, as in up a level, looking down on this crowd. It's an outdoor venue kind of centralized to the campus, and estimations put the crowd at 2,000 to 3,000 people. So it was packed. It was a really full area, full venue, and relatively calm until this very moment.
Charlie Kirk, a popular political activist, just to give you some background on him, 31-year-old conservative activist, father of two. He helped found Turning Point USA. That's a nonprofit that deals with conservative youth on school campuses. He is well known among at least traveling to college campuses across the country, a well-known supporter of President Donald Trump, a close ally of many in his circle. In fact, he spoke at the 2024 presidential convention just days after an attempted assassination attempt on Trump. And as we just heard from President Trump, who's also offering his condolences as well.
Yes, political leaders taking to social media, Governor Spencer Cox among them. He's saying on X that he is tracking the situation. This is the comment that Tamara most recently mentioned coming in from President Trump. We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot, a great guy from top to bottom. God bless him.
Governor Spencer Cox also weighing in on X that he is being briefed on the situation, posting in part, quote, "Those responsible will be held fully accountable. Violence has no place in our public life." He goes on to say Americans of every political persuasion must unite in condemning this act. Our prayers are with Charlie, his family, and all those affected.
Details are limited, although we can tell you one person has been taken into custody. There's a very visible social media video of that individual being led off campus by a swarm of police officers and security individuals. That individual is wearing a blue shirt, and one bystander told us that right after the shot rang out, immediately attention went to that individual in the blue shirt. So it didn't take long, one would assume, for police to have him in custody.
And we know that KSL news specialist Alex Cabrero is on his way to the Utah Valley University campus, hopefully to get us another perspective a little bit closer to campus. But as we just saw from video, lots of cars there right now, pretty much a traffic jam. So as we mentioned, information, it is coming in as we're showing you another live picture there from our UDOT camera there, right off of University Parkway near the campus. It looks like traffic there at a standstill, but several emergency vehicles out there right now as we kind of piece together all of this information. Again, 31-year-old Charlie Kirk shot on the UVU campus earlier today.
This was a highly publicized event. There was some criticism.
How do I get this off of here? All right, I'm bringing this one up, guys.
Yeah, right.
Why can't I hear it? It's not right
The ineffective people. And you look at somebody like Charlie, who is so effective, called by God for such a time as this in our nation's history, to stand up for righteousness and for light, and to raise his children and be an example as a husband and as a father, as a strong man. And you think about the darkness that we're living in.
What is going on?
And it's a darkness that's been allowed to grow. I mean, there's a lot of cliches out there, but if men don't stand, if righteous men don't stand, evil grows. And that is what we see today. And my prayer in all of this, the beauty, first off, is Charlie knows where his ultimate hope lies. Charlie knows that Jesus is his hope. Charlie knows where he's going in the end. And that's my hope. And my prayer for everybody, not just watching this, but across this nation, for the TPUSA family, for Charlie's family, and for the people that are living in darkness, is that they would find Jesus. That's our only hope.
Amen.
And you look at why we're in the situation we're in today, and it's because we've turned our back. We've allowed evil to take the place of Jesus, and you see the outgrowth of that. In the end, I know where Charlie's hope is, and that's comfort. But it also it's just the beginning of a big fight that we have to bring light back into this nation. And I'm praying for his family. I'm praying for his kids. First thing
That
I
would
did
be
was
me,
text my
Darlene.
wife. Because you think about the stuff we do.
Yeah.
Aw.
And I just told her I love her and I love the kids, girls so much. Because that's what it's about. So
Dude,
I love you too, Eric. And I love this network. And I love everybody who's involved with it. And I love the people that stand up and fearlessly stand with light in the darkness. If anything, this should get us to stand more.
This is an important point here. This is an important point. You know, tragedy like this happens. It's shocking. The emotions are visceral. You can see it. I'm moving into this anger period right now, and it may be too soon, but I'm pretty pissed. I'm pretty pissed that they're doing this and they're getting away with it. Gruber, what about you, brother? I mean, you were emotional before. Is it still there? Or is it turning into something more like Ben makes a great point. We cannot let them win. We have to stand in that. We have to take your best shot because we're gonna be here after you're done. When you're out of bullets, we're not out of people.
Yeah, here's the deal.
That's right.
We cannot let them win. We must shine light into that darkness. How do I feel about it? I have children. My 20-year-old daughter, huge fan of Charlie Kirk's. Devastated. My wife, devastated by this. My daughter sent me a text here a short time ago saying, Dad, maybe it's time to retire because this scares the hell out of her. Why wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. People being targeted, people being doxxed, from the baseball game where Republicans were gunned down to Butler, Pennsylvania, to the country music festival in Las Vegas, to all of these events that we've seen happen, targeting people that are conservative. And I ask this question with all honesty and sincerity. Are we free game now? We being the voice of conservatism, of America First, of Donald Trump, people that are supporters of the president. Are we free game now in this madness created by these people on the left who think it's, well, you just hit them hard. We just go after them. We'll call them names. We'll call them racist. We'll call them misogynist. We'll call them anti-American. We'll call them every name in the book. And we'll say, hey, they're free game. Are we?
Gina.
Feels that way a little bit, doesn't it?
Gina, what Steve is pointing out is probably on the minds of all four of us and the next 8 people who are on the show coming up. Conservatives, are we free game?
We're free game. We're free game. And when you have, and I'm sorry to go here because it's so ugly, but when you have irresponsible, reprehensible networks like MSNBC saying things like, we don't know that it wasn't a supporter just shooting off his gun in celebration at Charlie's event.
What an idiot.
You have anchor Katie Tur calling him, as she's introducing the story that he's just been shot, calling him a divisive figure who's polarizing, a lightning rod, whatever you want to use. This sort of,
may I add to that, Gina, if I don't mean
sure.
Matthew Dowd, lunatic, literally on MSNBC, basically blaming Charlie for being shot, saying, and I'm quoting Matthew Dowd, he's consistently sort of pushing this sort of hate speech aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts head to hateful words, which often then to hateful actions. Basically saying, if you don't agree, if you don't say things that we like, you're at risk of being shot. Matthew Dowd on ABC, that guy should be not only censored, he should be, investigated. That is hate speak. Firing him is too easy. Just get rid of it. Want to cancel someone? Cancel that lunatic. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can you believe?
Go ahead, Gruber.
They are suggesting with what you just said there from Dowd, exercising your God-given inalienable rights of free speech is reason enough for you to be shot in America. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution is the envy of the world, so we can have a robust exchange of ideas, freedom of speech and religion, freedom of the press, the freedom to gather, all of these things.
All right, Chris,
and
have a good night.
Has the nerve to say, well, if you say things we don't like, you're going to get yourself shot. They don't care about the Constitution.
I apologize.
They don't care about the promise of America.
This is video of the alleged shooter, the 60-something-year-old man they say is a member of the Utah Democrat Party. This is the person they believe is the shooter. Again, we don't know that for sure, but that's what they believe. Ben Berkman, let me ask you something. You're in the field a lot. you're rubbing up against. In fact, I saw a video just a couple of days of some people getting pretty mad at you just for being there and being conservative. Does this change your thought pattern at all?
You know, I don't know if the studio has it, but I started my fight back, well, before this, but in 2017, I was out in the fights out in California in the battles of Berkeley, and I got stitches in Berkeley. And I had a sign I was holding up that said, "Stop liberal intolerance," and I had blood running down my face. I went home that weekend. I had a 6-year-old daughter, Chloe, at the time. My wife was 8 months pregnant with our second daughter, Olivia, and now we have a third daughter, Lillian. And I went home that weekend, and I thought, is this worth it? Is it worth putting my life at risk to stand up and do what I feel called to do? And my takeaway was just going back to my point. I'm trying not to get emotional. It's really, really tough. If I don't do it, my daughters are going to have to do it. If I don't do it, my wife's going to have to do it. So it doesn't matter, to your point. It doesn't matter what they do. This will not stop me, and it will not stop the patriots, the God-fearing patriots of this nation. And in fact, if anything, it should solidify our resolve. This is the enemy we're up against. But even back to that point, though, Eric, at that time, I had these demons that call themselves Antifa and BLM, and now you've got Hamas and all of these different transgenders, and it's just all one evil. But I had them shouting at me, "Speech is violence. Speech is violence." And so they believe that they have a right to respond with violence to speech they don't like. And there is to go back to your question, are we open season? There's no doubt about it. There is a proportion of our society that wants everyone who thinks like we think dead, and they believe that they have a right to do it. And we have an obligation. There's a reason why we have warriors that protect this nation. There's a reason why we have those men and women on the front lines who aren't sure if they're coming home at night when they go out to protect their communities. And there's a reason why we have a Second Amendment. We need to pray first, but we as the leaders of our households and our nation need to be ready to stand up. And there is a time for that. And I think back to the Black Robe Regiment. We are divided as a nation. My first prayer is that Jesus comes back, that we shine the light, but there also needs to be justice. We cannot allow this to continue, this restorative justice, this nonsense that the left peddles, this idea that mentally ill, demonic people have a right to live in society amongst honorable, God-fearing people that respect life. There's something drastic. Many drastic things need to happen, and we can't be afraid to do it. And first, and the most important thing is we can't be afraid to say the truth into these liars' faces that call what you believe evil while they're actually living evil. It's just, it's beyond time that we stand up and just say, I'm not afraid of you. I'm going to continue to shine the light, and I'm going to defeat you.
Yeah, that's it. That's where the shock turns into anger. You get it's a stage of grief, really. First of all, Fox is reporting Charlie in critical condition. Fox reporting Charlie in critical condition. Again, we don't know that. We don't have that. Just telling you what's being put out there on the airwaves. Can you show the truth post that Trump posted about Charlie Kirk? I'll let Gina jump in on this. We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who's been shot. A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him. On Truth, Gina. Also, JD Vance tweeted as well. The administration's got their eyes on this. I'm positive, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. President Trump has been such a strong leader against crime from the very beginning. And I think that might mean all of us are in a lot more danger than we thought. And, this doesn't just happen to prominent speakers in the conservative movement or presidents. My husband, a former senator from Missouri, had on a Blue Lives Matter bracelet, walked into a pizza joint, was beaten beyond recognition, almost killed by just a savage gang of people who wanted the police defunded. And so this happens. And I can't help but feel like this is.
Can I? I'm going to jump here.
You guys have got.
We
Yeah, you got it.
I'm going to look at our fearless leader, Rob Sig,
Yeah.
who is
Looking at him.
pacing back and
There it
forth
is.
to tell us he's passed. Am I hearing this, control room?
No.
It's right. It's Solomon put it up.
They're,
It's on Just the News.
Oh, then it's
They're reporting, John Solomon's reporting on Just the News that he's passed. Yes, is this what I'm hearing? Yes, can I get here?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Wow, right here, we're having this moment, guys. Let's go around the horn, Gene.
No.
Continue on the horrendous news that Charlie Kirk has passed.
Well, my prayers are for Erica, for her children, for his family. This is beyond devastating, Eric. I've known Charlie, as I said, since he was a child, running around, coming to conservative events. Let's pray.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah.
Ben, your thoughts.
Pray for his wife, his kids that aren't going to have a father. I pray that all of the people that he's touched would be comforted by the Lord right now. I pray that his parents would feel that presence of the Lord that only the Lord can fill, that emptiness that only the Lord can fill. And I pray that what the enemy means for evil,
yes,
God uses for good.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to pray that all the people that Charlie has touched, the literally millions of young people who've found Charlie as a hope, a light, they continue and know that Charlie would want them to continue. Steve Gruber.
I come back to it's devastating. My daughter and wife both walked into the studio at the same time we were seeing this from Just the News and John Solomon, that Charlie Kirk has died at 31, having been assassinated in Utah. And they're both here with tears streaming down their face. But there's also this anger that we cannot let this moment be wasted.
Yeah.
We cannot let all the great things that Charlie Kirk did be wasted because of some act of violence. We must be steeled. We must be steadfast in the Lord, and we must move forward to save this nation, because that is what Charlie Kirk would demand of us. Mm-hmm. And I agree that we cannot allow this to take away our hearts. I will not let them win. I will not surrender to people that are so hateful that they would murder a young father and a young husband because they don't like his point of view. Yeah, Bowling, the anger is coming now.
Yeah.
And it's coming fast and furious. I'll try to watch my tongue here, but this is a devastating loss for his family. So let us hold up Charlie Kirk in prayer and honor. Be thankful for the work that he did and the organization that he created for young people. If they thought killing Charlie Kirk would stop the movement of young people, more young people in churches today, more young people that are conservative today, Charlie Kirk was a catalyst for that. I will remember that today. We will carry that forward. I will not surrender.
Well put, Steve Gruber. Can we bring in John Solomon? John, is he with us? Are you with us, John? Yeah. You're reporting Charlie has passed. Tell us what you know, John.
multiple officials in the United States government and 2 personal friends, but he passed a short while ago. Wasn't able to survive the blood loss from the wound to his neck. There'll be some announcements soon, is what I'm told. And then we'll have to sort through what happened today, who's responsible, and try to understand how something so senseless could occur. I was just with him a couple of weeks ago. Our good friend Rob Sig asked me to go out and spend some time at Charlie's event in Colorado, and I'm so glad I did. I always had an excuse not to travel, but I did it, and Charlie blessed me with the conversations we had that night in Colorado, the resilience that he had, the excitement he had that maybe the country was turning in a better direction, that young people were able to stand shoulder to shoulder and say, I believe in liberty, or I believe in God, or I believe in life, and not be bowed anymore. And I don't think from the conversation I had with him that night 2 weeks ago that he would want any of us to think that this is a moment to stop the fight he began, but rather a moment to continue it. Obviously, we need to rally around his family and his friends who are going to be devastated. But what he started is our generation's obligation to finish, to protect free speech and free expression and free religion, and to speak out until the moment we crush it, the intolerance that has led to violence and unthinkable American acts. This is the acts that we've seen in the last decade of censoring people, canceling people, bankrupting people, killing people because of their political views is not American, and there's no space for it. And if the greatest honor we can give Charlie is to make sure we finish what he started by crushing that mindset, it'll be the best honor we can give him tonight at this very difficult moment for his family. But we have a lot to still learn about this. We don't know much about the shooter, the shooting, what was used. We'll keep reporting as unemotionally as we can and get the best facts to the American people. And hopefully we'll know some more in the next couple hours. I would expect a briefing from the FBI or Justice Department. I'm sure President Trump is going to weigh in shortly. And we're going to have to come to grips that it doesn't matter what aisle or side of the aisle you are in politics today. America is worse off for what happened just a few moments ago. And we need to find a way, like Steve said in the last show, 9/11, we repudiated the hatred that occurred that day. We got to repudiate this in a way that's so powerful that someone else isn't tempted to follow in the footsteps of this cold-blooded killer.
John, you put this very eloquently, and you know, I don't know if I'm overreacting, but I had seen you on Gruber show towards the end, and there was a change in tone. I was almost wondering if you heard something.
I did.
Yeah, I could see
it. I was getting texted.
I could see it. I could see it. Yeah. I have a question for you, John. So there'll be time to point fingers. Well, I'm not looking to do that. I am just absolutely appalled that MSNBC has this guy, Matthew Dowd, used to be on ABC, but he's a big political operative who essentially blamed Charlie Kirk before he knew he had passed, blamed Charlie Kirk for his own attempted assassination, saying, and I'm quoting, he's consistently sort of pushing this sort of hate speech aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which often then lead to hateful actions. How dare he say that when there's a young conservative man fighting for his own life on the ground? And it's not true too. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, listen, MSNBC is a center point of hatred and intolerance and disinformation. And those who watch it do so at their own peril. Those who lend their name to it, Microsoft and NBC, should be ashamed of the conduct today. But they're also some of the same people that were involved in the cancel culture and the censorship and the intolerance that led to the period in the Biden years where we saw people canceled or bankrupted or thrown off air for just what they believed. And Charlie understood that. That's why he stood up and fought against it. He didn't hate people. He didn't even hate liberals. He just hated intolerance. And it is a painful irony that he may have died at the hands of some intolerant person, though we don't know yet exactly the motive, but I think some people will make that assumption pretty quickly. But I do think the best way we honor him, the best way we We carry on the fight the best way we make America better, which is what motivated Charlie. I have 100 times. Charlie, when we were in Colorado, he joked a couple times, that people think I hate liberals. I don't. I love to debate them. I feel like it's good for the country. And he didn't hate people. He was a devout Christian, and he hated some of the philosophies. He hated some of the intolerance in this country. But people he never hated, and he never, ever, in my presence or anytime I saw him, ever tried to dehumanize a person. And I want to back to something that keeps resonating in my mind. It's actually resonated in my mind since the moment Melania Trump wrote the letter that the reason people felt comfortable taking a shot at President Trump is that we've dehumanized people. And I think those who own MSNBC or operate MSNBC or any other outlet like it have to step back for a second and say, is this the best use of our corporate dollars to create a moment of tragedy where you dehumanize a person even as they're dying, or you try to legitimize a person who took a person's life for no reason? I do think that corporate America is in for a reckoning now. And I think MSNBC and others who perpetrate this hate, they've got to look themselves in the eye and say, is this what we're in business for? Is this what Americans pay ad dollars for? And I think that we have to have that debate. And it doesn't have to be a mean-spirited debate. It has to be a cerebral debate. But we're at a crossing roads in America. We see what Great Britain has become. They're arresting people for thought crimes. We're at the precipice of a group of people wanting control to do that here. And this is our moment to hold the stand, just like in World War II, people went to war to fight against an evil, just like people went to war after 9/11 to fight an evil. There's a cancer called intolerance that has been embedded in our country, and we better darn fight it now and answer the bell that other generations answered, or we're going to hand off a much worse country to the next generation, and that will be a failure of our generation. So I hope whatever has transpired today, we make some good of it, as hard as it is. For those of us that worked with them, we're going to be heartbroken for a long time. But for the rest of the country, we should be heartbroken for what it says about our country and the state that we're in right now.
Indeed. Let's bring in Dr. Gina and Ben Bergholm if we can, guys. Let's bring it around the horn. And I'm going to throw this out here, and you guys debate it with me. Charlie Kirk died because he was too good. He was too effective. He was hitting the right tones to bring young conservative people into the fold, to get involved in their country and do it from a patriotic side versus the liberal side, which is, we don't even know where they are. They're out in the wilderness right now. And because of his effectiveness, he became dangerous to them. We'll bring it around. Gina, you want to take that, and we'll pass it on to Ben after you?
Well, I think it goes right back to what you were saying, what John was saying about the horrid rhetoric of the left trying to equate free speech with assault or bodily harm or murder. Those are not the same things. And in fact, free speech is what distinguishes us from animals, right? When animals are angry at the way someone is acting, they kill the enemy, right, of their food source or whatever it is. We are supposed to, as humans, be above that. So when you tribalize, when you dehumanize, as John mentioned, when you attack the very thing that distinguishes us as human beings, that we can have a debate like Charlie so loved to do and did so well, then you set up a scenario whereby the only answer is the animal approach, which is what we've just witnessed. And that is what I think John points to, that we need to cerebrally address in our upcoming discussions about this. But I also want to say to those out there, my background is in mental health and psychology. I want to say it's okay to be really, really angry. It's okay. I mean, and people need to be able to reconcile that within themselves. The texts I'm getting right now, I'm sure all of you are too. People are already feeling real anger. Anger requires action. Prayer paves the way. Action possesses a land. That's a quote from Beverly LaHaye that I always try to remember. And that's where we need to go. This needs to result in more patriots rising up like Charlie. I think that's what we'll see.
Ben, your thoughts?
Yeah, to your point, he was the most effective I've ever seen what Turning Point USA has been able to accomplish through Charlie Kirk, a vision of a young guy that dropped out of college because he realized college was failing him, to go back to college.
Go ahead, Ben. It's just some ambient noise we got going on.
I just heard that from John. But to say everybody that he has impacted, I was just thinking about this. I've been in my own life every day now. Instead of getting up angry, I get up and I try to be thankful to the Lord. I thank the Lord for all of the blessings in my life. I thank the Lord for the good things and the bad things. I thank the Lord for my air, the air that I breathe. I thank the Lord for my family, for this network, for my friends, for all the struggles I've had in my life. I thank the Lord. And I was just sitting here thinking about all the seeds that Charlie planted across this nation with the young people. And I look at this nation and I think of the young people, the darkness in the eyes of so many of the young people. But I think of the seeds that Charlie planted and that God is now watering and that are going to raise up into a crop of righteousness. And I thank the Lord. I thank the Lord for Charlie. I thank the Lord for his life. I thank the Lord for what it meant to so many people. I just thank the Lord. And I pray that everything points to the Lord in this moment.
John, talk to us about the movement that Charlie created, the young people. I mean, he stepped out where there was a void. Famously, I dropped my son off at college. He was 18 years old, University of Colorado. Immediately, Democrat people, Hillary people, ran up to him and tried to get him to sign up for the Democrat Party. They had a ground movement. Charlie countered it. He's one man who countered their whole movement, tapping into that young vote. It was amazing, right, John?
He was wise beyond his years. He understood what he was doing. He also understood what Gen Z needed that millennials never got, which was a support system. He said to me just in Colorado, there wasn't much ingenious about what I did. I just realized that young people needed to have positive peer pressure. I think that's what he called it, to be who they were taught to be. If they were Christian and they believed in life and they believed in liberty and free speech, they didn't need to be bowed down at college. And the way to fight that bullyism was to create a movement that would just say, it's okay to be what your values tell you are. It's okay to be, to believe in faith in God and freedom and the goodness of America and not have to buy the garbage that was being shoved down young people's throats. And the millennials didn't have that. By the time Charlie got started, he was able to capture the Zoomers, the Z generation. And I think his legacy is he allowed a generation to go back to its natural tendency. America's always been a slightly center-right country. And Charlie created a place where a new generation of Americans would not be bullied into belief systems that they didn't believe, but because their teachers and their peers and their employers and their churches and others were trying to bully him into it, they were going to bow to it. And he realized by just creating shoulder-to-shoulder friends, campus by campus, school by school, that he could counter that. And it's so ingenious and it's so remarkably intellectually brilliant. And yet, as he said to me, it was pretty simple, John. It wasn't that big. It wasn't that complex a strategy. I found that remarkable. And, you look at the times he would debate in Cambridge or anywhere, and he had unbelievable intellect and sharpness. And yet I want to reiterate for all those on the left, some who I know well, who are saying he was a hater. He was not a hater. He would have stopped in a second to help a person, regardless of their political beliefs, if they needed help or they were hurt on the side of the road. He was not a hater. He just believed in confronting intolerance and making a better argument for it. And those who dishonor him today with these false stories of hatred, they are the true intolerant misinformers.
Oh
of
my
our generation.
Goodness. Calm down. You scared mommy.
I had moments with him where, he said something that he thought offended people beyond what was allowed. And he wanted to talk about it. And one time I connected him with a minister and we had this great conversation. And Charlie was so reflective and he never wanted to hurt people. He just wanted to hurt intolerance and defeat it in its place. And we have an incredible opportunity to carry that legacy on, not to let this gunman, whoever it is, have extinguished an extraordinary movement. And I don't think it will be extinguished. I think it will be put on steroids now. I accidentally left myself unmuted when I was talking to my newsroom here, but law enforcement is telling me they do not have a suspect in custody right now. They did arrest somebody, but it was
that
not the
was
shooter.
the question I was going to ask you. We saw video of them, of law enforcement holding someone down, but we don't know for a fact that's the alleged shooter right now. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
And right now they're saying they do not have a suspect in custody. There is some concern that this was carried out in sort of a sniper way. I think they're still sweeping the campus. Many students are still told to lock down to that campus. So we're watching closely to see what's going on. I think you're seeing right now a tactical team of police officers being deployed on campus. A grid by grid search is a normal thing, building by building search till they find the location and the shooter. But this is a story that is a long way from being finished, and we'll get more as time goes on. But that's the very latest I have.
John, do you have any further? I know you're very, very close to the FBI and some of those folks, Cash and Dan. Have they indicated to you anything, any information that they have with their other, moving assets in place now?
FBI's deployed their best in Utah. Obviously, this is a more distant location. It's not in a major urban area. So there's a lot to still be reckoned with, but there'll be all sorts of assets deployed here, particularly because with a shooter at loose, you don't know if there are more targets ahead. Mm-hmm. And so there is a legitimate safety issue until you get that shooter or shooters in custody. So
Indeed.
Again, very tragic stuff. We don't know if this is an American, a foreigner. We don't know much yet.
I will tell you, I'm no expert. I have handguns, I got rifles, but seeing the video, that looked like a shot from far away with a high caliber round.
I think that's right. That's what the experts are telling me. I think you're right, Eric. But we'll get the facts and we'll get them to our great audience, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can over the next few days.
Can I just get our guys to change that? Charlie Kirk passed it. Please don't say he was assassinated. Please, let's do it the right way. Can we bring in Laura Logan? Is she stand by? Is she available? Laura, do we have you, my dear Laura Logan? Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Since we last spoke, my good friend, we have the horrendous news to report that Charlie Kirk has died from the assassin's bullet that we were talking about earlier. Your initial reaction post-mortem?
Well, like a lot of the people that you've had on the show already, Eric, I sort of feel this combination of heartache and sadness, like this just deep, unbelievable sadness and shock. But then on the other hand, this slow burning anger.
Yes.
And, I think it's really important in this moment to think about Charlie as a husband and a father, because his wife and children were so important to him. And Charlie said over and over again on air, and if you knew him, he would say it to you in person, that his children were everything to him, and he was fighting not just for his own young children, but for all of our children. I remember the time when Charlie first started Turning Point USA, and there was nowhere for conservative kids on college campuses to turn. There was no one who had their backs. They were, they were really just trapped, and they had to lie about who they were. They had to hide themselves. They had to pretend to be something that they weren't. And so, what Charlie did, he won a scholarship I don't know if he won a scholarship, but he was accepted to Brown University. He could have gone to Brown University, and he chose not to. He instead looked at the situation on campuses, and he decided that he was going to dedicate his life to correcting this grave injustice. And it wasn't just about standing up for free speech. It was about standing up to a decades-long indoctrination system that had been put in place by Marxists and their globalist allies at campuses all across the United States. And I'm reminded of the many articles that wrote about Hillary Clinton when she was running for office in 2016, that wrote that it was her destiny, to become president. And one of the things that they cited was the speech she made at her own convocation At her own graduation, she gave the convocation speech, which was unusual at the time. And one of the things she said was that our colleges are not yet in line with our way of thinking, but they will be. And that's the point at which Charlie Kirk enters, right? When where the colleges are in line with that line of thinking, they've become, propaganda, indoctrination operations, where that will really have been truly harmful to the United States of America. There are families all across this country who have been torn apart because when their kids went off to college, they were subject to this indoctrination. And so Charlie Kirk gave hope to all of these people. He gave hope to people whose kids weren't even born yet, that they didn't have to go into that kind of environment, that they could stand up for God. They could be Christians. They could be against abortion. They could be in favor of Donald Trump without having to be maligned and thrown off campus or failed grades because college professors could take it out on them. I mean, Charlie Kirk represented hope. He was also sort of staggeringly effective.
So,
I mean, Charlie really was,
Laura,
Yep.
and that is exactly the point. First, allow me to reset, folks. We are reporting Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. I know other news services are saying critical condition. Charlie was a host at Hear Real America's Voice, and we've been told by John Solomon sources inside the administration that Charlie has passed. Also, that the suspect, a lot of people were believing was the shooter. There's some video of someone being arrested. John also says that that is not the suspect. They don't have a suspect at the moment. So that's where we are. That's why we're showing video of the campus. It's in lockdown. And we're showing SWAT, police, likely others, FBI, other law enforcement entering some of the buildings on campus looking for the potential shooter. So we just a quick reset. But Laura, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted, do you think Charlie is now has been assassinated because of how effective he actually was in bringing out young people to vote for the team that the bad guys didn't like?
he did an enormous amount to bring out young people to vote. But, that was just a part of it, Eric. I mean, that's what's extraordinary about Charlie. He was just incredibly effective. I mean, he would hold, meetings every year for his donors. They would gather for days and then they would meet and his fundraisers just brought in millions of dollars because people of every age group had a lot of faith in him. He was very organized and efficient and precise. He knew exactly what he was talking about. He was grounded in his faith and his principles. His character and his integrity were, undeniable. Right when you knew Charlie,
Laura, I apologize. If I may. Donald Trump just posted on X, the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me. And now he's no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. Donald Trump posting that on X just moments ago. Go ahead, Laura. I apologize.
Well, there aren't always real leaders, right, in every generation. I mean, Charlie was a real leader, and I'm not saying that about him because he was assassinated. If you'd asked me that yesterday, I would have told you the same thing. He represented the power of what one young person can do. When he started out, he didn't have millions of dollars and all these powerful people backing him. He traveled all the way from across the country to a little town in Texas to come and speak to people at Hondo's restaurant, which is a local place here that I go to a lot, which friends of ours own. And he spoke to people. And one of the things he did was show what banned words there were on campuses, words that you weren't allowed to use on college campuses in the United States of America, including in the state of Texas, where people think you're somehow inoculated from this radical Marxist, doctrine. And Charlie showed that it wasn't true. And from there, he built an entire organization and a movement. And he was consistent in everything that he did. He was consistent in his views and his principles. And he was not afraid. I mean, this is a man, John Solomon was saying that Charlie loved people, and he was right. Charlie loved people. He was willing to sit down with Gavin Newsom. I mean, who's just a disgusting, vile human being who is also culpable in this because he's one of the people that is responsible for pushing lies upon the American people. I mean, it's time for these things now to stop, Eric. We can't let this just, go by the wayside. This isn't just some tragedy. Okay, this is part of a much larger operation, which is designed to dismantle this country and all the things that Charlie Kirk stood for. This isn't just because Charlie Kirk spoke up. This is because those ideals for which Charlie Kirk stood are under attack right now. This is because this country is under attack right now. And Charlie Kirk recognized that, and he didn't hesitate. He threw himself into the fight. He built everything from the ground up. He deserves full credit for everything that he did. And now he's been martyred. I mean, that's the reality here. He was assassinated, and he will be a martyr for anyone who believes in freedom, who believes in God, who believes in justice, who believes in accountability.
Girl.
I mean, I just, we in our lifetimes haven't experienced a moment like this. And let the record stand. All of those people who have accused Donald Trump of exaggerating his assassination attempt or manufacturing the assassination attempt or faking the assassination attempt, all of those people, this would have been the result if Donald Trump hadn't turned his head at that rally in Pennsylvania. These assassination attempts are real. And there wasn't just one. There's been multiple against Donald Trump. And they still would take him out if they could. So let the record now reflect the reality, the truth, which is that the left is not the party of peace, right? It's no longer, we have lived with these lies for long enough.
Amen.
The left, as much as anybody else, is the party of violence and murder.
What? Well, come on.
And all of these people need to be held accountable. It wasn't enough to try and kill Steve Scalise. I mean, remember, Antifa goes out there and burns down buildings, and they put all across, remember when CNN and Cuomo were comparing Antifa to the Allies landing on the beaches of Normandy, holding them up as heroic figures who were somehow fighting against fascism? The left are fascists and tyrants. And it's not just the left, it's all of the traitors and the rhinos on the right who are working hand in hand with them.
The ones that remain silent. Together. The ones that remain silent.
Yeah. Correct.
We're not going to go off Charlie right now, but the people who are sitting in that light rail train car with Irina and just sat there, you're complicit. You're complicit. If you watch some of this stuff happening, and let me bring this around, if I may. Gina, we'll start with you. How do you coexist? How do you coexist with literally half the population? Some of them are radical enough to rather see you dead than express your own opinions about the country.
Well, you speak truth, and you speak it endlessly, and you speak it no matter what. And I think this will result in that. I mean, I think somebody in the chat said, homeschool mom, I believe it was. I was just looking at the chat comments, said, we're all very angry, but the real anger is going to be with the youth movement, with all of Charlie's supporters. They are going to be so angry. And we have to, those of us who are adults in this situation, have to continue to be adults and lead them in the right direction. The right direction is Eric, it's back to the cross. It's where our prayers and our anger and our all of the things, our sadness, our grief, our disbelief, we need to pour it out there because we're going to have to be here for them because they lost their leader right now. And I think that's something very real. Now, that doesn't take anything away, of course, from certainly what Laura said about Charlie's beautiful wife, Erica, his amazing children. She would send me pictures of them. What a great family they were. What a great family they are and they remain to be. And what a burden all of us have to rightfully take up the mantle of what Charlie already represented. I was one of those college students, Eric. You may know that my PhD was, my first master's degree rather, was withheld from me because of my political views. And I didn't have anybody like Charlie to come speak on my campus and to fight for me and for my rights there. So what a blessing he has been, and what a blessing his, I think of Andrew right now on his staff. I think of so many who just loved him every single day of his life and knew him best. And in his quietest moments, this had to be a fear, right? This had to be a concern of his. I think it is for all of us, like many of us have discussed. It's our responsibility to be there and be strong for them now. And it's our responsibility for those of us who are watching from the sidelines. This is your clarion call. This is your moment to engage and use whatever talents God has given you, like Charlie did.
Ben, the same question to you. How do we coexist with a group of people, some of them radicalized to the point where they rather see the other side, people like us, dead than voice our opinions?
Yeah, well, again, Dr. Gina just said it. Jesus is the answer, the only hope for joy and hope in our life for this generation. But we also have rules and laws and consequences. And I think about what President Trump has done in this nation. I think about the fact that President Trump is in office today because of Charlie Kirk and the work he did on college campuses. This has to be a pivot point in our nation where we say what has been accepted is not accepted anymore. What has been allowed is not allowed anymore. I think, immediately we're going to listen to the left, and they're going to say, well, the guns, it's the guns, it's the guns. It's not the guns. And Charlie would be the first to say it's not the guns. It's the evil that we have allowed to grow, fester, and metastasize in this nation. And the only way that this stops is if you kill that cancer. And that means in some cases, that means justice for the people that want to do this harm. In some cases, that means turning people around. But it starts with standing up and unapologetically, as Charlie Kirk has done from the moment I knew him, standing up and saying what you know to be true without fear. And if it hurts somebody's feelings, so be it. That's on them. You have to stand for what you believe in. And going back to my last point about the seeds that Charlie Kirk planted in all of those people, I thank God for Charlie Kirk. I thank God for the young man that he was, the father and the husband that he was, the light that he was, and the seeds that he planted in this nation. And I thank God for the fruit that's going to grow out of that. And it's our job. It's our duty to carry that mantle on.
John Solomon, same to you, sir. Oh, do we have John? We don't have John. Okay, we lost John. Laura, how do we coexist? How do we coexist with a group of, radicalized lunatics amongst them? Not all of them, but amongst them, who are willing to perpetrate violence on the other side just for being effective, like Charlie Kirk was.
You do the right thing for the right reason. That's what you focus on. Erica, remember the old Irish prayer, right? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And if you worry about your house, you worry that you're doing the right thing for the right reasons, and then God will just take care of the rest. And I don't mean sit back. I don't mean, just take care of yourself and your family and not worry about anything else. I mean that you do the right thing for the right reasons. You stand up for the truth because the truth comes directly from God. And, there's a lot, it's very obvious that deception walks in darkness, right? So when people deceive and when they lie to you, these things crumble over time, but the truth stands. And Charlie Kirk, his words will stand over the test. They'll endure over time. They'll endure over generations because what Charlie said was true. And the things he fought for were real. And the things he stood for are real. And there is no doubt in my mind that the one thing he would have wanted more than anything else to come out of his assassination was to light a fire under people who have been afraid to act, to light a fire under people who are worried about what they may or may not have lost or what people might think of them. That's what Charlie would want more than anything. He would want people to take this, as Dr. Gina Loudon said there, as a clarion call. Right? Don't retreat. Don't retreat inwards and let them win. Don't surrender. Don't take a knee. Don't give in to your fear. Don't let everything he stood for and fought for be in vain. In fact, let this motivate you. If anything, this should be, this just crystallizes things for all of us. We can now see the lie that the left is the party of peace. That can now be put to rest. People like MSNBC should have their licenses revoked. You should not be able to say in this moment that people like, it could be one of Charlie Kirk's supporters and he deserved this and he brought this on himself and all this kind of stuff. This is not, this is the kind of language that is designed to incite hatred and incite violence. When I look at it, what would be the outcome, Eric? What would they love more than anything else? They would love race wars and riots across this country that prevent Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and the rest of them from bringing indictments and arrests, exercising their powers under the Constitution, and holding people accountable for treason and sedition.
Well,
that cannot be allowed to happen.
Yesterday said, pointed finger at Charlie Kirk about the shooting, about the murder of Irina in Charlotte. He said that Charlie Kirk was inciting race violence because he accused it of being a race crime. When the shooter, the guy who stabbed the poor Irina came out of that thing, threw his knife on the ground, said, "I got the white girl." I mean, people are going to have to start watching their rhetoric right now. Charlie Kirk is dead the day after Van Jones said something. We got about a minute. Does anyone think that there's no relationship at all? I'm not saying it's a direct relationship.
It's open season. It's open season, Eric.
I'm mad.
Gina,
I am so mad. I can't do Christian right now. I'm mad.
No, I'm not saying you can't. I understand that. I'm saying if you are a Christian, if you are a white person, if you are a conservative, if you are a MAGA, if you are, it is open season.
Your target.
It's open season because people are not held accountable. That's
right.
why. If you have accountability, all of this will stop. So that's the frustrating part is let's stop focusing, on the racial side of it and let's focus on the accountability side of it.
Yeah. Ben, final thought.
Yeah. Protect your family, stand up. When you see somebody acting in a way that is unacceptable in our society, stand up against it. And there are people that are in our society that cannot function in our society. There's a reason we had insane asylums in the past. We're going to have to bring things like that back, but turn that anger into motivation to stand up and save this nation.
Okay, Gina, final thought real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, God bless the Kirk family. I just want to focus on Charlie for now. We'll get to all the rest, but I just want to focus on that right now and just say God bless them. Please continue to pray for them hard. They're going to need it.
And Laura.
Yeah.
This is a historic moment. I mean, look at the assassinations that have defined this country in history. Charlie Kirk's assassination will go along in the annals of history with Martin Luther King and with JFK. And I would urge the president not to let the same situation arise where they pin it all on one lone wolf, gunman, and they make up a story and they deny us full accountability for all of the co-conspirators who were involved in this, because I don't believe for one single second that this was a single shooter who just did his own thing. It's nonsense.
And who's next?
Who's next? That's right, Gina.
I don't think so either. I agree with you. They'll go after the most effective conservatives they possibly can. Say thank you to Ben Bergquam. Thank you to Gina Loudon. Always thank you to Lara Logan, my good friend who was standing by at the right time, boy. Really, really need you. John Solomon reported Charlie Kirk has been assassinated, 31 years old, per John Solomon's sources. Also, no suspect yet in custody. They're on the lookout for that, folks. It's a tough day around here at RAV. We're going to miss him. God rest his soul. Charlie Kirk passed, age 31, assassinated, folks. War Room's up next. Continued coverage of the passing of the assassination, cross-off passing, assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Interrupt you, Vaughn, but please stay on the line. Donald Trump has just posted on his social media platform, Truth Social, the following, quote, "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you." Again, President Donald Trump just posting on his social media platform news that Charlie Kirk, conservative activist, has died in today's shooting. Vaughn Hilliard.
Wednesday, 10 September in the year of our Lord 2025. No, Charlie Kirk did not die. Charlie Kirk was assassinated today in Utah, doing what Charlie Kirk does. He's hosting one of his, not just the show today, they did that from the Phoenix studio, but Charlie was dialed in from part of it and was doing his show live, what he always does, which is debating college kids and bringing the word of the MAGA movement to the nation when he was gunned down in cold blood. Jack Posobiec joins me. Jack, your thoughts. It happened during the shooting itself, Jack, happened during your show. Tell me about it.
Well, it did. And you know, we were getting the information in fast and furious, and a lot of signal or a lot of noise. You know, it's hard to separate that from the signal. We do have signal at this point, and right now, all I can say is from Tanya and myself, our thoughts and prayers absolutely go out to Erica, to the children, to everyone in Charlie's family, the team who was there. And we're working behind the scenes as much as possible to find out exactly what happened, to find out exactly who did this. Charlie
he was assassinated in cold blood. Right?
Charlie Kirk was assassinated in cold blood today. And Charlie Kirk was and is one of my best friends on this planet. And Charlie Kirk is a hero. Charlie Kirk was the hero when America needed a hero. God sent us a Charlie Kirk to move the youth in 2024, to do the heavy lift that nobody else could do, what he did with the campus and everything else. And
Arizona and Pennsylvania and all the college campuses, but those two states with the ground game, President Trump been very difficult, if not impossible, if he did not have the ground game of Turning Point and the efforts of Charlie Kirk.
And after Butler, I said to Charlie, Charlie, are you sure you still want to keep doing these? And he said, Jack, I'm never going to quit.
He wasn't going to quit. I mean, you see that today. Today at the University, Utah Valley University, out right outside south of Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk. It was about 2:00. It was in your show, so it was like 2:15 Eastern Daylight Time. So I guess it was 12:15 when he would normally have the
Mountain Time.
Massive crowd. I want to make sure everybody understands that the individuals in that tweet, the older guy, looks like is not the shooter. The shooter has not been apprehended.
Yeah, we do not. So President Trump has just announced that all flags to be lowered half-mast until Sunday evening at 6 p.m. in honor of Charlie Kirk. And yes, Steve, to your point, the shooter the person who was originally suspected of being the shooter that was making the rounds online, just from reporting now that that's not the shooter. Obviously, I'm in touch with, everybody knows I'm close to this one. We're all close to this one. We're in touch with everyone we're in touch with. As of right now, what we're being told is that that's not the guy.
I want to say also, you can see from the video and the shot, Charlie was in very bad shape from the beginning, and I want to give a shout out to the people around him, the emergency crew. I think he was airlifted. They worked nonstop on this.
Look, they gave him the immediate care, but that kind of hit is something, and everybody I know in the military, special forces guys started calling me up. They said, I've seen guys take hits like that on the battlefield. And when you have an exit wound like that, it is a very, very hard wound to try to save someone's life, just because of the quickness, because of the pressure, the oxygen to the brain. This is something where it's something where it just absolutely breaks your heart, because when you're there, you know what's happening and there's nothing you can do about it.
No, by the way, it is a battlefield. I mean, Charlie Kirk was a warrior. Charlie Kirk wasn't going to back down. After the Butler assassination attempt last summer, you warned him, other people warned him that, hey, Charlie, you're the most exposed person in anybody in this movement, because Charlie would, it looked like a couple of times a week, go into these crowds. And look at that crowd today at Utah Valley University. It had to be a couple of thousand people, 4,000 or 5,000 people.
No. He knew. He always knew. And he knew, and he would say, I need to do it anyway because it has to be done. And if I don't do it, who else will? Because he had a drive, he had a spirit, he was a builder, he was a father, a husband. And he had this, unlike no one I've ever met, maybe outside of this room, where he just would never stop. And it could be 2 a.m. I could send Charlie a text, he texted me right back.
100%.
2 a.m., 3 a.m.
The only time he would take Saturday off for the family,
except for Saturday. Saturday, of course. Saturday. If you need him, you go to Erica. And that was the time he said, "That's my time. I want to be with God. I want to pray. I want to unplug." But my point is that this guy would never stop working. 24/7 operation, 24/6, and
keep going.
The movement that Charlie Kirk started will never end. The movement of the youth, the movement to save this country, the movement to ignite a fire for freedom and liberty across this republic. And by the way that he always spoke so forcefully for Christ Jesus, that whenever chance he had to give his testimony for what he believed in and who he believed in and to lift up God's name, Charlie was always the first one to do so.
So I know obviously people were shocked today when we left you a couple of hours ago. What did I do? What I always do at the end of the show in the morning is toss to Charlie Kirk for 2 hours of populist nationalism, followed by Jack Posobiec, Steve Gruber, Eric Bolling, then back to the war room. It just shows you, hey, every minute's precious for people, particularly for people in this movement and people the tip of the spear. I realize everybody's rattled by this. Charlie Kirk being assassinated, shot down in cold blood for the entire world to see. The shooter is not apprehended yet. Yes, there's going to be prayers and mourning and half staff and nurturing the widow and a ceremony. But we have to have steely resolve, right? Charlie Kirk's a casualty of war. We're in this country. We are. And the mocking that you had on MSNBC today was completely and totally inappropriate by Matthew Dowd, and the owners of MSNBC ought to know he ought to be removed immediately and never come back on that channel. His comments earlier today, when we first heard that Charlie was shot, right? And Katie Tur was trying to do her best job, right, given the circumstances, but you have a guest like on there. We need steely resolve. Charlie Kirk is a casualty of the political war going on in this country. He was gunned down in cold blood. Gunned down in cold blood. And you have to have steely resolve about this.
Charlie Kirk never, look, what did he do? He would say, if you disagree, come to the front of the line. Because he wanted to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk never raised a hand in anger. Never once. He said, come out here. He would say, change my mind.
He was a happy warrior.
He's a happy warrior every single time.
Right. You never saw him.
You had conviction.
Right.
You know, he had
he
conviction. He was tough as nails. But he never once did so. And he never once came off the stage. You go find hundreds of hours of video. He never did it. No. Never once. No matter how crazy, no matter how nuts, whatever he was being faced with, he would always sit there and he would hold his ground and hold frame and do so with the peace of Christ. He had a gift from God. He had an absolute gift from God. And for, these are the reasons that we'll never be able to really get the answers of, but God called him home today.
Well, it's your fate and your destiny, right?
Yes.
Charlie Kirk knew what he was getting into in doing this, right? Charlie Kirk was at the tip of the spear, never flinched, never backed off. You never heard any whining from Charlie Kirk. I mean, we would have texts, and there was a lot of stuff, we didn't always totally agree on. The text message chains with Charlie Kirk all hours of the night, always trying to learn, right? Always trying to move the ball forward, but always doing it with in a very upbeat spirit, right? In a way that was, he's a glass half full guy, right? And the organization he built, that's why I attracted so many college kids. And it started with college kids, but it built all over the events themselves now. His two big events, one in the summer, and of course the event right before Christmas in Phoenix, are the most important events of the calendar for the conservative movement. It's a who's who comes on the stage, including President Trump came on last December. And on that stage, for the first time, President Trump told that audience, because of what Charlie Kirk brings and the intensity he brings, President Trump told us why he ran for office. It was because he knew the 2020 election was stolen. And he says, I had to come back and make sure that we didn't if we let that go, we weren't going to have a republic. And that's the power of what Charlie Kirk built. Charlie Kirk was a warrior to the end. If you see his last moments of maybe consciousness before he was shot, what did he have? He picked up a mic to respond.
He died fighting. This is a man who died fighting. Charlie Kirk died fighting, not for himself. Charlie Kirk died fighting for you. Charlie Kirk died fighting for Jesus. Charlie Kirk died fighting for this country. And he did so knowing full well that he wasn't just staring down at a microphone or some liberals. He knew about Butler. He knew everything about it. I've talked to him about it a million times. He knew. And by the way,
he knew about the security too, because he says, hey, I can't get too much security because it cuts me off from the young people. It cuts me off from the crowd. Charlie was a people person. That's why today when you saw that tent, the people were right there in front of him, right? And they're in the line and they're tossing back and forth, and Charlie's giving as good as he gets. He was answering. He picked up the microphone to answer, to respond to something he didn't agree with, right? That the individual.
If you disagree, you come to the front.
Exactly.
If you disagree, you come to the front. He always every time I did an event with him, he'd always say, "You disagree, you come to the front." We did Penn State last year. We did. By the way, just because I haven't said it yet, to Charlie's mom and dad, his mother and father, that obviously our prayers are absolutely with you, the entire Kirk family, and we need to get to the bottom of this now.
You need to get a bottom of it, but he went out as a hero. What'd you say the hero America needs right now?
When America needed a hero, God sent us Charlie Kirk.
As a fighter.
When America needed a hero, God sent us Charlie Kirk. He sent us Donald Trump. Some say that we're not sure who sent us Steve Bannon, but we got a Bannon too.
I'm not in that league. But I'll tell you, the Trump, they came for him twice. You saw it in Butler when they tried to gun him down in cold blood in Butler, assassination attempt, another one later.
Look.
And Charlie Kirk, I don't want to hear Charlie Kirk is dead. I don't want to hear that Charlie Kirk died today. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. An assassin's bullet cut him down.
Single shot
at 31 years old. Yeah, at 200 yards. What we're hearing. So it was not a rookie, right? It was somebody who knew how to use a weapon. Charlie Kirk was cut down by an assassin's bullet, right?
In the prime of his life.
Top of his game. Just when he got going. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I mean, beyond all that, he's our friend. This is one of our friends. And when you come for one of our friends, that's it. Gloves are off. Gloves are at you. You thought that before was bad, that we went hard. You just took away one of our friends. And that's something that requires
But people have to expect this. Look at Luigi.
You get MAGA or get Mangione.
That's my point.
And the Mangionis are now taking out the MAGAs.
And Mangione is considered a hero by those guys. I tell folks all the time, you got Mangione and you got Ma'am Donnie, who's
it's the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks.
Yeah, exactly. So you see what they're doing. And Luigi and Mangione is treated as a cult hero by these people.
So tell me again about, Posobiec and Bannon and the rhetoric. Oh, the rhetoric. You're so upset. Oh, because I use the word unhumans. Yeah, what word would you ascribe to an act like this? It's unhuman. Okay? That's what we're living through. You think I want to do this with my time? You think I got kids? You think I want to be here? This is what you have done to our country.
Exactly.
And what comes next is on you too.
And we're not going to back off an inch. Anybody think if you're going to back off, then this is not for you. Charlie Kirk gave his life for a country. He's on the battlefield of political combat, okay? And they cut him down with an assassin's bullet. Let's be blunt about this. They cut him down with an assassin's bullet. I guess we're going to take a break here. We're going to take a short commercial break. We've got John Solomon, three other people going to join us. Hopefully the great Matt Boyle. Jack Posobiec, one of Charlie's best friends and best partners, is with us. And we're going to take a short break and return in a moment. You're in the War Room.
When my sweetheart Peter Navarro was sent to prison, I thought he was doing the time, but I quickly learned families do the time too. I lived through the silence, the heartbreak, the moments no one sees, but our love survived. This is our story. It's not just about injustice, it's about holding on when the system tries to tear you apart. I went to prison so you won't have to. Get your copy now on Amazon.
I went to prison so you won't have to.
Thinking about long-term care? Think AMAC. Rosemark Advisors, the financial division of AMAC, specializes in alternative solutions for long-term care planning. We help AMAC members prepare for future healthcare needs without compromising their retirement goals or financial security. But that's not all AMAC has to offer. AMAC is America's leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization. So when it comes to long-term care and so much more, think AMAC.
If we've learned anything over the past few years, it's that devastating events can strike without warning. Global pandemics, acts of terror, and even bank collapses can cause chaos in a matter of moments. And I just want you to be prepared. Hi, I'm Donald Trump Jr., and it's for these reasons that I strongly recommend a gold IRA from my trusted friends at the Birch Gold Group. For thousands of years, gold has protected wealth through every kind of crisis. Birch Gold can show you how to move your retirement savings into an IRA in gold, legally and tax-free. For decades, they've helped thousands of Americans protect their IRA or 401k from unexpected events. To learn more, click below for your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group, the only gold company I trust. Don't wait for the next crisis to strike. Take action now to protect your family's financial future. Click below for your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group.
In 2025, we find ourselves in a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever. For more than 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been committed to supporting the values that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage on all three of the major networks, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service, it's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream. Choose a wireless carrier that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Donald Trump Jr. here. I need to tell you about my friends over at Tax Network USA. They're a team of licensed tax professionals ready to fight for you. Save yourself the headache and endless run around trying to deal with the IRS on your own. Visit tnusa.com.
The IRS is intensifying collections in 2025. If you owe $10,000 or more or have unfiled tax returns, it's time to take action. Visit tnusa.com.
No. We don't know why that man did what he did. We don't know how to deal with people who were hurting in the way this man was hurting. Hurt people. What happened was horrible. No one mentioned the word race, white, black, or anything except him.
Okay, that was Van Jones. What do you say about this Van Jones situation?
Really, Van Jones? Really? And all of them. All the people out there. They want to blame Charlie Kirk. They want to blame Charlie Kirk, who never hurt anybody in his life. Charlie Kirk, who always stood up for truth, and he did so with his voice. He didn't do so with his hands. He didn't do so in violence. He didn't do any of this.
And what was Charlie talking about? A woman being stabbed.
The woman being stabbed to death. Where's your energy for that, Van Jones? What, you think people are worried about when they go on a subway late at night, that they're worried about being surrounded by Charlie Kirks? They're looking over their shoulder for Charlie Kirk? No, I don't think so, Van Jones. I don't think so at all. So now my wife has got to go reach out to Erica because as close as they are, and now we have to deal with this. But no, it's all Charlie Kirk's fault, right, Van Jones? It's all Charlie Kirk's fault, and all the rest of it was MSNBC saying, "Oh, Charlie Kirk, he ginned up the rhetoric, and he did all this." Shooter's still at large, by the way, as far as we know. There's a manhunt, they're saying, and we've been in contact with FBI and all the rest. So it's all this, right? Or what did they say? It was maybe a MAGA guy who was getting up. Come here, break. We know where the violence is coming from Butler to West Palm and now to Salt Lake City, Utah. No. This is the Mangionis. This is the Unhumans. This is the sick, pervasive violence that's going on by the blood in the streets and the blood of Charlie Kirk now. Just like the blood of Trump a year ago, less than a year ago. Just over a year ago.
Charlie Kirk was not killed today. Charlie Kirk was assassinated in cold blood.
And they're gonna sit there and say, they're gonna sit there and say, oh well, it's the war room, it's the Charlie Kirk show, talking about COVID, talking about no.
Steel yourself, folks. Steel yourself. Now's the time. This is a moment we need to show strength. Okay, need to show strength. Matt Boyle, talking about the strong. Matt Boyle, your thoughts? You've covered Charlie from the very beginning.
I happened to sit in, I think, one of Charlie Kirk's first pitches when he started Turning Point with a couple of people very closely associated with Breitbart. And let's say he went up a steep learning curve. That's the kind of guy he was. Your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, well, but by the way, before he even started Turning Point, he was working for Breitbart, right? Like way back in the day, as far back as when he was in high school, as far back as 2012, back when I was first starting at Breitbart. I remember we actually just published this a few minutes ago. There's an email he sent us back when he was a high school student in 2012. When he reached out to Breitbart, like a cold reach out to want to join the cause. And he was inspired by Andrew Breitbart. He always talked about that. 100%. I've known him very closely. Look, you're 100% right. I was just watching your segment there with Jack. This was a political assassination. This was like an assassination of Martin Luther King or JFK or something like that. This needs to be a wake-up call and a clarion call to every American.
Hang on. A clarion call, but particularly for this generation, one of our younger producers, because we have them, they're very young here at the War Room. He told me, he says, this assassination will be a formational event for my generation, right? The generation under 30, under 35 years old. This is your moment. Charlie Kirk represented you. Charlie Kirk he came in with a crazy idea. I want to take over student governments. This is when he first came to Breitbart. I want to take over student governments in college and then in high schools, right? And what you have now is a political powerhouse, a grassroots, not just grassroots powerhouse as far as delivering Matt Boyle, but also thought leaders. Remember, he had the pastors, he would have thinkers, he had so many different aspects of Turning Point. He's built a massive machine through his personality and force of will, right? And for that generation under 35, and remember, Charlie Kirk gave his life for you. Where was he? On a college campus. What was he doing? What Charlie Kirk does every day, debating, right? Using ideas, coming back, and he picked up the microphone. His last act on earth, right, was picking up a microphone to rebut something that he heard from one of the people, as Jack says, if you don't agree with me, come to the front of the line. That's the kind of people he took, Matt Boyle.
Yeah, this is a really emotional moment for a lot of those young people, including myself, right? I'm a little older than Charlie, but the fact is that, you know, I think everybody's going to look back on this moment and remember where you were, right? Like, remember where you were when JFK was killed. You're going to remember where you were when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And the fact is that I think that his mission is now all of our mission. Right, we can't let him die in vain. We have to carry on his mission. And then the other thing is that the radical left, frankly, there is no differentiation anymore between the radical left and the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is rotten from top to bottom. They've been corrupted by the radical left. They've been taken over. They've been subsumed. Maybe one day we'll get to a place where we have two parties again that are reasonable, but we don't have a reasonable Democrat Party anymore. Democrats are not reasonable, right? Like the fact is that they have created this culture that you heard the establishment media people out there like Van Jones and like the MSNBC crowd. I don't know if you saw this, but in the immediate aftermath of it, you saw people on MSNBC suggesting, oh, it might have just been Charlie Kirk's supporters just shooting their guns off. And, you know.
No, that was Matt Dowd. That was Matt Dowd.
Yeah.
And Matt Dowd is, remember, folks, embrace this, folks. Matt Dowd is not a leftist. Matt Dowd, let's get that up. Matt Dowd was a Bush Republican.
Okay.
And today what he said on MSNBC is unforgivable of what he said. When Charlie Kirk's life was hanging in the balance, when they medevaced him out, they helicoptered him out, and the doctors and nurses are sitting there trying to save his life. This is the kind of thing Matt Dowd said, right? So it's unforgivable. But you're exactly correct. This was a political assassination, and it's a political assassination trying to target the young people in this country because they understand that the power of MAGA, the power of our movement, is not a bunch of boomers. The power of our movement is coming from the young. And that's where the energy is. And they understand this changes American politics and saves our country. This is what Trump came back for. This is what he returned for. He returned to save the country and make it great again. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and I think that this is not, they're not going to succeed, right? Like, I think that what's going to happen is, because I'm telling you, I'm getting the messages right now from people across this movement, people
They're
that
not
work
going to
here.
see. Hold it. The future is undetermined, Matt. Today at 11:59 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I tossed it to Charlie Kirk to do the show like every day. 2 hours of populist nationalism coming in hot with Charlie Kirk. The future is unformed. We have to form it. It's not, we will win if we don't flinch. We will win if we don't sit there and start sucking our thumbs and get in the fetal position. Okay.
Where I'm going
Charlie
where I'm going
Kirk
with
was
that,
assassinated today. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, where I'm going with that point, Steve, is that
Mm-hmm.
I think that the raw emotion of this, right? Like, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm not really an emotional guy, but this has hit me pretty hard. I knew Charlie very well. It's hit me very hard in the last, couple hours here since I've been
Good night, everybody. Or good. I'll see you guys on Tina's tonight. I'm just still pretty upset. Love y'all. God bless. Peter out.